Hello and, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mr. BoomStick XL, of course, your host of Double Barrel Gaming. And of course, welcome to Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick. And, well, it's just Mr. Boomstick right now. J Rock was here. He had an emergency pop up. Hopefully, everything's going to be okay with J Rock. We do have some guests. Mav is supposed to be joining us. Hargeet China should be here shortly. We also have Pixelbit G joining us. So, we're going to have a few people here, but listen, let me just welcome in everybody. Man, talk about a crazy 24 hours. I mean, I don't want to say that this is as bad as it was in February. I mean, there's a lot of Xbox fans, rightfully so, in their feelings, right? You know, some people have used the word betrayed. Some people have used the words Phil lied regarding, games going into or onto PS5. I mean, listen, he didn't lie. When he said the 4 games, well, those are the 4 games that PlayStation got in 2024. It's going to be different for 2025 and beyond. But let's bring him in. Mav, what's going on, brother? Crazy times these last 24 hours. How you feeling?
Hey, good, man. Sorry, coming in super hot, but
That's all right.
just walked in the door. Good to be here. It's been a whirlwind, man.
It has.
Whirlwind of news, lots of awesome gaming stuff as well. Yeah, but some craziness again in the Xbox community.
Indeed. It's been look. I had a chance to, look, I don't reflect on things. I'm a gamer. I'm going to be playing games on Xbox. Again, in the beginning of the year, I was still on the perch of exclusivity means something. But I also didn't borrow $70 billion to buy Activision. And in doing so, Microsoft, as you heard, Phil Spencer's interview today at Gamescom basically broke down exactly what is happening moving forward. I'll never bend the knee to it. I don't like it. But like Macho Man Randy Savage used to say, you don't like it, but you got to accept it. It is what it is. This is going to be one of those open mic conversations where we're not running on a script. We're going to talk about the Sarah Bond interview today with Phil Spencer. We're going to talk about people's, thoughts and theories. I know Hargeet has a really good one regarding, the 3 or 4 month timed exclusive. But look, it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm not giving them Xbox. I'm not trading in my Xboxes, I should say, because I have 2 Series X and an S, and somehow then gaming on PS5. I've seen that. Look, folks, game however you want to play a game. Wherever you want to play a game. Is what they're doing? Man, I can't even say that it's right. Look, they got to make money. Again, I don't like it, Mav. I mean, but we're gonna get into it. Hargeet, I'll come to you in a second. I'll let you finish eating dinner there, brother. So just take it easy. Mav, you and I got a chance to hang out with yesterday. And we PTK Bland was there, and we all had a great conversation. I was there for the first hour, wasn't there for the second. The second hour seemed to be a little bit more pointed, I would say. Look. If you are an Xbox fan, and I've been saying this for years, Mav, the true exclusive is Xbox Game Pass. And I know there's people that keep continuing to push back on that. What support the devs. You see all kinds of things. Some of the stuff I read today was just so ridiculous. I do support the devs. I pay for a service which is going to be $20 a month. That's supporting your devs. Because all those devs that put their games in the Game Pass either work for Microsoft and they're getting paid by them, or when they put their game in from second or third party, they get a giant bag and they make money on the back end. So developers aren't hurt. I mean, listen, Mav, let's get into it, brother. I want to get your hot take on this because obviously I want to wait for some people to get in here before I poll people's opinions about the interview. And again, I have it. And I really want to just play for context. Let's just keep it simple. Let's talk about the messaging, because again, PlayStation getting the game like I'm so numb to it now. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. At this point I don't care because I know that I'm not paying $76.43. But the problem that I talked about it today with King David when we sat down one on one, going over this, is the way it was done. I think that it was done so half cocked. It almost didn't seem like it belonged there. Oh, we lost Matt for a second. We'll get him back in a hot second. I mean, right? Am I wrong, folks? Did it seem like it was kind of shoehorned in there? Because that's what it seemed like when they said that. Well, we got one more thing. I'm like, oh, they're gonna show off some DLC. This is gonna be dope. And well, they announced that it was coming to PlayStation in spring 2025. And of course, Jeff Keighley, man, boy, oh boy, did you see it? Did you see that big old cheese smile when he announced it?
Hard
Best
to miss
announcement of the show.
Hard
Hey,
to miss.
Pixel.
What's going on, man?
Well,
Hard to
listen,
miss.
yeah, no, listen, bro. Thank you so much for joining us. Here's Mav. Here he is. Mav, what's going on, brother? Welcome back.
Sorry, I'm not sure what happened, man. It's just all of a sudden it said there was an error. Or something.
That was Jeff Keighley, brother. He owns the interwebs, and I mentioned his name, and like Voldemort. Well, you know what they do.
So look, knock people out.
Pixel, you coming in hot, Pixel. I love it. I love it. We're gonna have a fun time tonight, folks. Get ready. Next 90 minutes, we're gonna get into it. It's gonna be a kind of an open mic conversation. But Mav, what I was saying before you got you got ejected, not certainly by me. It almost seemed like the PlayStation 5 coming spring 2025 announcement was kind of shoehorned in there. That's at least what I thought. It didn't feel like it was connected. You know what I'm saying? When Jeff Keighley said, "Hey, we got one more thing. Machine Games got one more thing for you," I thought it was going to be the announcement that this is going to get DLC. Now it is, but you wouldn't know that because they didn't bother telling you. And you had to go and look at the collector's edition and then blow it up on a giant screen and look on the right-hand corner and says, "Oh, there's something of Giants is coming as DLC at a future date," which is awesome. That means the game is going to continue well after, and let's hope that they continue that. Let's get into it, brother. What are your thoughts on the announcement?
Yeah,
I think the running narrative, Matt, it wasn't an announcement that needed to be there. It just didn't have to be there. They have plenty of time next year before spring in the winter where they could have done an announcement. Gamescom 2024 was Microsoft's biggest show. It was their biggest booth in ever. They've been telling us this for months. This announcement I've been waiting for, and you've been waiting for, and the near 400 people who are Xbox fans in the chat have been waiting for. And that goes for Xbox and PC. I think that we should have been catered to, and let us get excited. Let us get excited about this game. But no, I don't know. To me, it is what it is. It's just another rake stepping moment, in my opinion, and just bad messaging. Let's get your hot take, man.
Yeah, the announcement was the thing that surprised me. Like for it to come to PlayStation potentially 4 or 5, 6 months later, that doesn't surprise me whatsoever, right? And I think a lot of people are so caught up on that point. The thing that surprised me was the actual announcement of it now, because that's just not really par for the course at all in general, even for timed exclusives, right? Usually if you have like a game that you're planning to bring to another platform and it's like a timed exclusive thing, then they kind of hold on to that to allow it to be as popular and as successful as possible on the platform that it's launching on first. And then closer to the actual release of that game is when they go like, "Hey, it's coming to PlayStation, or it's coming to Xbox, or it's coming to whatever, surprise." And then it gets another round of excitement there. But this was different, you know. It almost we were on the show last night after this happened. I was trying to speculate like what would make them do the announcement that way, you know? And I was trying to think like, could it be with the licensing? Could it be that they went back and did another deal with Marvel and Disney, and this was kind of like, hey, they have to start marketing the PlayStation version or whatever. And I didn't know. I was trying to figure it out. But after Phil Spencer's interview today, like that's all out the window for me now. This is just like, this is them just completely embracing the multi-platform future of Xbox.
Yep.
And that's what I took from Phil's interview. And basically what I expect now is that I think actually, be honest with you, if it had been in the works for a long time and it had been ready, I think they may have even gone day and date on it, if possible. I think that they would have been completely fine with that at this point. It seems like they're embracing this idea of just releasing their games everywhere and having that exclusivity being with Game Pass. I expect now to see Halo, Gears. I expect everything eventually to go to all the platforms, because it just seems kind of like that's what they're doing. I have the luxury of me never personally really caring about that. I never felt that other people not getting access to games made my experience better on the platform that I prefer to play on. I've always preferred to play on Xbox, and that will continue to be the case as long as there are Xbox consoles to own and Game Pass exists and games go day and date into the service, especially because there's a lot of games I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, this is kind of seemed like, hey, on a multi-platform game showcase, they're making a statement a little bit with that announcement at the end saying, hey, this was going to be exclusive, but now it's a time exclusive. We're embracing this going forward. And this is kind of the new Xbox. Phil, on his interview, said we learned from those 4 games in this short couple of month time span. They've learned enough to be able to make this kind of drastic adjustment on Indiana Jones, which seems kind of like, I don't know how much I'm buying that. I think that this has kind of been in their plans for a while now, it seems like.
Yeah.
So, I was comparing, well, I remember PlayStation announced the Lego Horizon game also for the Switch at the last Keighley show, but that's also day and date. So there was no reason not to announce it at that time. For them to actually make a big point and say, hey, later, PlayStation, you're also getting this game. It was an unnecessary thing.
Yep.
Unless you're sending some kind of other kind of message. And I think that message was, hey, Xbox diehards, Xbox console warriors, Xbox enthusiasts, and the fan base that hates this. Here's the Band-Aid. We are pulling it off. This is for you to see and learn to get over, because this is who we're going to be now. That's how I took it, man. After finding out what Phil said today, that this had nothing to do with anything else other than just their desire and their learning about making as much as possible off of these games. I think that's just what they're going to do. And I'm okay with it. I've always been okay with it. I've actually championed multi-platform games in the past. I've championed PlayStation games coming to Xbox. I always thought Spider-Man should be everywhere. One of my first videos back on the channel was saying that, like, you shouldn't be gatekeeping Spider-Man, especially when the Avengers exclusive Spider-Man content was announced back in the day. I always think that kind of stuff is just absolutely ridiculous. But I've always thought still that exclusives have mattered for the business, right? And that's where I've said, well, business wise, I think it makes sense for them to have exclusives. I always think it's important for them business wise to have exclusives, but personally, I don't care. Now Microsoft has made the decision that business wise, it doesn't make any sense for them to have like too much exclusivity anymore. And that's the biggest difference. And I think that's just the transition that Xbox is making. That's the thing that when ABK finalized, a lot of people talk about Microsoft gaming, Xbox is dead, and all this kind of stuff. I don't think Xbox is dead. I just think a lot of our ideas about what Xbox has changed. And now it is going to be this new entity going forward. They're pushing forward ahead of schedule like they always do. They're always kind of ahead of the game on things. And this is an adjustment, man. And they're moving a lot faster than I thought. That's the thing. Like, they're moving faster than I thought. Like, this kind of announcements, like we all saw this happening in the future, but I didn't see this happening quite as of yet. So they're just moving this accelerated clock and they're going, hey, we're just going all in on this. The console business is what it is. We're not going to grow too much there. We're going to just rely on releasing our games to as many people as possible. And many guys won out on that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, here's the thing. When you've heard Arcade, I want to bring you in because I know you have a lot of really pointed opinions, but I just kind of want to get this off my chest. When you spend, meaning Microsoft, $100 billion with a B to acquire a multitude of studios, which they did in 2018, that includes Obsidian, Compulsion, Undead Labs. These are all studios that are going to be hitting, and of course they get Bethesda. Now they have ABK. Microsoft needs return on investment. Now, I'm not here to talk like a businessman. I'm here to talk like a gamer. What matters to me and what should matter to you ultimately is, are you personally affected by Microsoft taking this stand? Are you trading in your Xbox? Are you throwing your hands up and saying, I'm done with the brand because I don't have exclusives anymore? Well, I'm here to tell you, and I saw some knucklehead clipped me today talking about, oh, you see, Boom is saying, that Sony's going to put games on Xbox. It's misinformation. I didn't say it as a matter of fact, but you don't think Sony is already thinking about that? You don't think Lego Horizon is one of the first games that comes over?
I don't think they are at all.
We'll get to it. I think they're going to have no choice. I think they're going to have no choice because the money people are going to win there as well. Hiroki Totoki is going to sit by and say, why aren't we making more money? Because let's call a spade a spade. PlayStation gamers, the ones out here running the victory lap for winning Indiana Jones, they don't buy games. And they don't buy first-party games. They just don't. But we'll get your hot take, Pixel. And again, this is, like I said, this is going to be an open mic conversation, everyone. Hargeet, I want to get your opinion. I want to bring Pixel in, and then I want to play for everyone, because I want to get some more bodies in here, the actual interview from Phil Spencer today. It's 1:30. You heard me play it when I was live streaming with King this afternoon. But there's maybe a lot of new faces that didn't see it. I want people to hear, because I want people to read what he is saying. Hargeet, let's talk about the Indiana Jones thing, because you actually said in the chat you don't understand this 3 month even.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
So look, the exclusivity thing obviously was going to change. We knew that. That was, once they said the 4 games are coming over the test, the test.
Your mic is bad, brother.
At least one game worked, right? Sea of Thieves worked. We don't know where Grounded is. Grounded seems to be doing okay, but I don't know what the numbers are, right? We haven't really heard. So out of that, you can take Hi-Fi, didn't work. You can take the Pentiment, that didn't work. But you can see that the other 2 kind of work, at least to Sea of Thieves definitely worked, right? So you knew there was going to be some other stuff coming, right? Now, in this game, we got leaked information that it was going to be exclusive from, I think it was the FTC who put it out there. It might have been somebody else, but in one of the regulatory approval processes, we got this thing that, hey, they went ahead and paid to make it exclusive, right? They renegotiated and said, no, we're going to make it exclusive. It was supposed to be multi-plat. Now, if this is the deal they made, then it's silly to me. I don't see the point of a 3 month, and that's apparently what it is. It's 3 months, a 3 month exclusivity window. What the heck does it buy anybody? It's a slap in the face to both the Xbox players and the PlayStation players. There's just no point to it. Nobody's going to go out and buy a freaking Xbox because they have to wait 3 months. It's just not going to happen, right? I just don't see who this is for. So I think it's foolish. Like if it was a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, okay, then it kind of makes sense. 3 months? I think the whole thing was just done stupidly. I don't see the point of any of it. I would have rather they just said, hey, this is launching on everything. That would have been better. Because when Doom did that, did anybody go, oh my God, it's the end of the world? No. Just figured, okay, that's the way it is, right? It's an existing thing. It was on PlayStation before. In this case, it's a licensed IP. You just say, fine, that's the deal they got. All right. Nobody would complain if it just said, you know what, this is just multi-plat. It's just multi-plat. It is what it is. It's going to go to everything. right? Expect it on Nintendo when the new one comes out. It's just going everywhere, right? That's just the way it is. Fine. What they did was a slap in the face to both sides. There's no reason to hold it from PlayStation if you're going to put it there. Just freaking put it there. There's absolutely no reason to announce the release date for Xbox players and then tell them, hey, fuck you. Sorry for the language.
No, that's fine. It's fine. It's okay. We're adults.
That was just so ridiculous.
Hey, Hargeet, your mic is coming in and out.
Oh, it is. Sorry. Let me see if is that better?
No.
It sounds like it's also like maybe the wrong microphone. Like it's
that might be it. Hang on a second. It probably is, and you're right. It is.
And how's that? Is that better?
Oh, that's silky smooth, man.
Yeah,
you sound so good, Hargeet.
Big difference, yeah.
There we go. Now you're on my short mic. All right. Yeah. So I think the way they handled it was just stupid. I don't see the value in what they did. To me, the whole 3-month exclusivity, even if it's 4 months, whether it's supposedly like April, they're going to put it there. That just seems stupid to begin with. But then to announce it the way they did, it's not the greatest. It just really isn't. Like they could have just said, coming soon to whatever as part of the the release date, right? Just said, release date here. But then the one more thing, the way they did it really was to just say, we're putting it in your face. We're putting it in your face.
It seemed out of place. Like I don't know if you heard me
before. The question I have is okay. So this I agree is super unusual, right? So why? Like that, so there has to be a reason, right? Because
and I think it has to do with it's Europe. But go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
I just trying to speculate. Like, that's why last night after this happened, I was like, maybe this had to do with the licensing deal because there was stuff about them going and working again with Marvel to reactivate some of these old licenses and stuff, and reobtain some of these old licenses, and maybe they got sat back at the table, and this was part of the deal that they're going to bring all of their games for Disney and stuff to all the platforms, or maybe that it was part of it that when they made the original deal that eventually they would have to start marketing when they changed to Game Pass, and maybe they could only get it as a timed exclusive. But that all kind of changed today.
I don't know if that's
Phil
true.
Spencer's. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean,
I don't think that's
the first one. Let me just
interview today. That's what I'm saying is like that's out the window for me.
This is them choosing
now.
But the first part was out the window anyway because any of those PS3 games don't run on PS5.
Right.
So you can't bring them back because they don't run. So there's no deal to be made there because you can't bring those games back forward, right? There's no back impact for them. So there's no negotiation there. Like those, a lot of those Disney or whatever game, licensed games are from that era. So that I never thought about that one, but I think that's out. But like you said, the interview from Phil cuts all that down, right? They're making a choice, and like you said, the strange thing is why do it this way, right? I don't think it's the appeasement of Europe. What would they be appeasing these clowns for? They already appeased them by losing the online rights. So what are you appeasing?
Here's what I think is happening, right? It's Machine Games game. They're Swedish, if I remember right. Is that where they're from?
I believe so.
Okay, and how many Xbox players do you think there are in Sweden?
It don't matter. The monkeys don't run the zoo.
But it does because Phil will listen to the studio.
I mean, I guess for Microsoft, it does.
I bet you Machine Games, which by the way, when you saw them, they're like, they didn't even talk about Xbox, right? When Machine Games talked about it, they're like, we are happy to bring the game to PlayStation. They didn't even say Xbox. They only talked about PlayStation. Like, dude, you have to just read between the lines. Machine Games could give a shit about about Xbox. They only want to put it on PlayStation. They don't care because it's the only thing they play on. That's the way it is. So you have to just look at what their side of it is. And like, they don't want it on just Xbox. In fact, they'd be okay with not putting it on Xbox. They'd rather it be on freaking PlayStation. That's just the way it is. And Phil said, fine. And look, they're going to make more money this way. That's probably true.
PlayStation, and then they can be ponies on PlayStation. Like, bro,
yeah.
Like, in what scenario at Microsoft do you let the underlings get to run the shop? Like, no. I'm not trying to give the underlings the excuse.
But they do.
For what's happening in this company. It's not just the underlings. And really? So is that the same scenario with Towerborn? Is that the same scenario for them?
Towerborn thing is
Did
weird.
the underlings also say, you know what? Oh, we don't want to deal with the processes for Microsoft. We'll just put it on Steam first, exclusively.
I would say that one is a little different just because they don't own that studio. Like it's
how's it different? They pay for development,
but
they've been the ones that are promoting it for like 3 years.
It should be
those decisions are not coming from the bottom.
Steam early access at the same time, but like as far as amount of control you have over the studio is different.
Does Xbox not have does Xbox PC not have early access?
It does.
It does. That's why. It should watch day and date. But I wouldn't compare Stoic directly to Machine Games.
Why not? But see, but here's the thing: the stupid decisions
are they like
or the strange decisions.
I don't think so.
Who Stoic?
Yeah.
If they're what?
How many people are at Stoic?
What does it matter?
What?
And what matters is who owns the studio.
How many
here.
people can work on something? That's all.
Yeah.
Listen, that my take is it doesn't. The shit rolls downhill, bro. So we're gonna absolve the top for making these decisions and say, oh, it's the underlings making the decisions. I don't buy that shit. I'm sorry, I can't buy it. But go ahead.
No, I mean,
it's not make decisions. They'll just accept the decisions. That's the
they'll accept
right?
them.
So,
if I accept your decision, I'm allowing you to make the decision. If I told you that this is exclusive on my platform and you tell me it's not, and I say, okay, then I'll let you make the decision.
Yep.
I have to say, oh, yeah, I'm down with that. I make the decision.
Yep. Which they are. They are.
So we're letting the bottom influence the decision. So all of the studios are able to run carte blanche and do what they want to do. Y'all really think that's how the shit runs? I don't think so. They're not all running as separate units that report to no one. They just did a remanagement of all the studios, and everybody reports to Booty. Remember? Did that just not happen?
There's a grander oversight problem that's been permeated through Xbox for a long time. I think as they've grown, you see more of this. They're trying to figure it out and how to manage all these studios and how to do all this stuff. I think that also, like to your point, this is a decision from the higher ups that they're willing to accept multi-platform games and that they think it's good for their business. Exclusivity is less important to them these days, and they're willing to roll with that. So, like, they didn't shut it down, which they could have if Machine Games wanted to do it, right? They did that for Starfield. Obviously, Pete Hines felt special ways about that, according to the emails that were leaked, right? But they're obviously their feelings and mentality from the high ups have changed, and they're allowing this to happen now. I mean, they went as far before, according to the FTC documents, to actually change the deal and add exclusivity to Indiana Jones and Game Pass, which originally it was supposed to be day and date multi-platform.
Yep.
Right. So they have changed so much now to say, well, now we're still going multi-platform.
My point is that it is a decision being made from the top, and it's across the board. It's not like, oh, where the case by case nonsense he was trying to pull before.
Yeah, Pixel bit here earlier. And we said like the whole slate. This is going to be the whole slate.
Yeah. So that's just my point. I don't want to hear nothing about it's the underlings that wanted this. That's not how that works, man.
But it's the Heartgeeks credit,
it's the big dogs above. Listen,
but the Heartgeeks credit, though, I could see completely how Machine Games would want to release on PlayStation.
Weren't we saying that the same thing about some other Xbox studio that what was the one they got rid of? Whatever the Japanese
the Hi-Fi Rush studio.
Oh, they're Japanese, so they're gonna want to only play for Japanese. Like I mean, so what? They got rid of them.
That is a problem, by the way, and that's why they did it.
I'm not saying that it's not a problem. They don't have developers who don't care about the platform. I'm saying that you got to be making that decision at the top, because if my care is about if my concern is about my console platform, then I'm not letting any peon tell me how I'm going to move content to get people on that platform. That's not what it is.
You're making it into some sort of authoritarian thing. It's like, look,
but it's a business.
This isn't
exactly. This isn't a fucking.
And a lot of times, you will actually listen to your people, right? If you don't do that, that's
I'm say that
Microsoft is now listening to everybody below the top, and the top isn't the one that's mandating the position of the company. That's my only point. Like,
but I think things have changed, though. You see
I'm
what
not saying
it
hasn't changed. I'm not saying it hasn't changed. My point is that it has changed, and we shouldn't be making excuses to say they're now just agreeing with the bottom.
I'm just telling you what I think happened.
I'm just saying that let's just put the blame where it belongs at the top of the ladder. That's all I'm saying.
We're trying to figure out.
See, the thing is this. I look. I'm sorry to say, we've all called this. I think it's very easy to see that. Even Hargeet, you said it yourself. Once this deal was done with Activision, you said
it's accelerating things. Yeah,
right. And that is just my point.
Yep.
That people may have their feelings in the lower rungs of the company, but it's not the lower rungs that are making this decision. It's being made at the top. That's my only point. And it's a full shift of the company to deprioritize their console. That's it.
Well, okay, so
anybody
your
denying that
assumption
part
is
of
that Phil went to Machine Games and said, "You're going to put this on PlayStation."
How many months does it take to port a game?
Probably in that range, 3 months, probably. Right? Depends on how big your
game
studio
that
is.
size, 3 months. Nah.
It just depends. It depends on how much.
Yeah, but see, hold on.
Game had to be in development for a while, bro.
We see again. We're getting to a lot of speculatory stuff here because we don't know how long Machine Games has had this as a multi-plat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've talked to quite a few people behind the scenes that I consider very reliable, and a lot of the stuff they tell me I don't talk about. But we've heard that there were builds for Starfield. Now, Starfield is not going in 2024, but rest assured, Starfield is going to release in 2025 on PlayStation. Someone actually had asked in the chat, and a new name that I've done this, of course, I'm sorry, apologies, I don't remember. They were asking, is Elder Scrolls going to be on PlayStation? 150,000% it is.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even dare say that they release the same day, just like Doom. It's just they're going to make money one way or another.
Look, I think that would have happened anyway.
Yeah, I do, but I'm pretty sure that game is launching day and date on PC, on PlayStation, on Xbox, maybe even Switch for that matter.
Yeah,
Switch too.
Oh, it's definitely coming to Switch too. Everything, absolutely.
I mean, everything's going to come to Switch too, including Call of Duty. And look, here's the thing: when we start talking about the monies, I don't give a shit. I want games. This is why I'm an Xbox gamer. It's why I have a PlayStation, a Switch, and a couple of handhelds. Right? I love gaming. I, for many years, was quote unquote conditioned to buy a particular box for a particular game. But that generation, unfortunately, is gone. I said this when I was chilling with King this afternoon. I would run the company like, oh my God, what's the guy's name with the tattoo on his
Peter Moore.
Peter Moore. Thank you, sir. That's how I would run it. And I would force people to buy an Xbox. If I was in charge, I'd be like, listen, you want to play an Xbox game? Buy an Xbox. You want to play on PC? We got that for you. You know where you're not playing it? On Switch and on PS5. That's it. And now they have the ammunition to do it. They didn't have it before. But here's the problem. The problem is the world.
The ammunition costs money.
The ammunition costs money. It does. And the world right now is everything is rocketing super expensive. And that means game development as well. A studio of 500 people making a AAA game, you think they're doing it for free and they're on their off time? They're just gonna half-ass it. You got to pay insurance, you got to pay rent for the property, you got a lot of stuff you got to pay for, and everything is getting expensive. Listen, I don't make excuses for how the messaging was. I understand that games are going to go everywhere, and when I say that's going to happen on PlayStation, I got people come attacking me in the chat. I got people attacking me on YouTube. Listen, if you don't like that, if you are pointing the finger and laughing, it's going to happen to PlayStation, folks. I don't care. I still think Spider-Man is next year. And you know what? If I die on this hill, I'll come out and take the giant L. It's not a problem. But it's those IPs right now for Sony, no one is buying. No one is buying Spider-Man 2018. No one's buying Miles Morales. But you know who would buy those games? Switch owners, Switch 2 owners. You know who would buy those games? Xbox owners. And I guarantee you they would probably sell between both consoles 10 million copies each of those games. And you know what that's called? Finding new money with old IP that's sitting there collecting dust like old newspapers. Pixel, I want to get your hot take. You were able to jump in, but I want to give the mic to you. I want you to have a free reign. Let's talk about it because, again, after you get, you drop your bars, I do want to play the interview with Phil Spencer. I think it's incredibly clear. I don't think you could walk away and be like, yeah, we're still gonna have exclusives. No, I don't know what exclusives they're gonna have, but it ain't gonna be many, at least in my opinion. I think that they're going to. I hope it's not full slate because, like I said, I'm in my feelings, and I probably just because I'm an old man about the Gears, Forza, and Halo. But I'm also not running the company, and that's it is what it is. Pixel, take it away, brother.
Did he actually say that they would still have exclusives?
I mean, I
didn't catch that part.
So. No, he didn't say that. No. Yeah. He didn't say that.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know about that. So, like a lot of you guys said, it's really more of it's not. Sometimes it's not what you do; it's how you do it, right?
Yes, 100%.
And when you're trying to deliver a message, the last thing you say out your mouth is the message. That's kind of the way I look at it, right? Not the first thing you say, the last thing you say. You end on the note that you want people to remember. They ended on the note they wanted people to remember. Now, I've seen people try to contribute this to Jeffrey being the clown that he is, but I don't think it was him. Not really, right? Microsoft positioned their game at that show. They could have easily have dropped that release date, let the game come out, and announced that a month after. What difference would it have made, right? As opposed to basically stymieing the release on their console and announcing it for another console. So that's the decision they made.
Yeah.
Right? So, I think we knew that was coming. So it's not that surprising. It's just the way it was done. And then for me, right, adding the Towerborn thing on top of it is like, bro, what is you doing?
Yeah,
right? What are you doing? Right? It's a game that's been running on beta on console for like 2 years, and now it's time to like almost go live, and you're like, oh, we're gonna put this exclusively on a non-Xbox platform. Not even Xbox PC app gets it. That's wild to me. Right? To me, that's something that you do when you are deprioritizing your console. Like, it's kind of the only way for me to look at it. And that may be fine for some people, right? It won't be fine for anybody who's Xbox only.
I'm an Xbox only guy. I don't play on PC, so that's bothersome to me.
Yeah, it won't be fine for anybody who's got a large backfill of games and trying to figure out what's going to happen with that content, right? Because anybody who's seen a console go away knows what happens to your collection when that console goes, bro. Right? It all goes with it because there's no way to go forward, and
do you think
no piece of hardware survives forever?
Do you think they're going to unannounce the next generation of Xbox hardware? Like,
did they really announce
change their mind? Or
I see no reason why they would. Why they would? You're not positioning yourself to sell a console next gen. And I said this in text on another show and got blocked, but that's okay because that's how life is. If you are positioning your console right now, 2 or 3 years before your new hardware is coming out, as a place where not only do you not get exclusive content, but you're going to miss content, and even the content you make, you are more likely going to get the worst version of that content. Because what we've seen from the studios that they've gotten, and maybe this is because of the studio's love for PlayStation, like Hargeet is mentioning, is that the Xbox version isn't the best version. Why is that? So you're telling me as a consumer that your only selling point for everyone else is we have Game Pass. That may fly for people who are in the ecosystem. That may fly for you and I. That's not flying for new people coming in. It hasn't yet. So to me, you are positioning yourself as a company that's not looking to be here as a hardware company going forward. How else can I look at it?
I think in the long term, that's eventually what they
I
all end
think
up
that
being.
is short
Like,
term. No, I don't want to hear about what everybody else is doing. Hold up. Let me rock for a second, man. At the end of the day, we understand that consoles will eventually go away. Fine. That's granted. We all get that. But if the console space is disappearing, everybody else should be reacting like it is. And only one person is. Now, maybe they're clairvoyant and they know what's going to happen in the next 4 years. But you don't know that. And clearly Nintendo and PlayStation don't either. Because this is the only company that's moving this way, which is fine. But we got to recognize that at some point, soon, they don't want to be in this space.
Man,
because you're not looking to bring new people into your platform. You're not looking to bring new people to console. So if you're telling me right now we don't sell enough consoles to sustain the games that we have, and now I'm positioning
said that though.
No. Right. They have said that. Right. I'm saying Xbox is saying we don't make enough. We don't have enough people to sustain the content we have. Right. And I'm not going to make an attempt to bring more people to my platform for that content. What do you think is going to happen with my platform? Am I going to be healthy going into next gen? Are people going to be making a decision next gen that I don't need this console? Is anybody right now who doesn't own a console saying to themselves, yo, let me get that Xbox?
Yeah, but here's the thing. You still have 30 million plus console players
right now,
and Game Pass subscribers, which are primarily on console.
So
absolutely,
that's
right
my pushback. You're implying that they're gonna just give up on hardware.
Everybody's perspective right now is that Game Pass is such a powerful offering that it negates the power of Steam and Steam sales and all those nice little deals that they get on other console platforms. It negates having the worst performance on your platform. Game Pass is gonna negate if say PlayStation does say we're gonna bring out a PS5 Pro. It's gonna negate a PS5 Pro coming out and somebody getting the better version of the console. Right? That's what's gonna negate it.
How many people do you think buy the PS5 Pro?
Less than 10%.
It could be less than 10%, but it'll be more than.
I'm telling you, it's going to be because it's going to be
I know
it is,
right?
Device.
I know it's a very niche device, right? But it's going to still be more than the people that's buying an Xbox.
But the reason they won't get out of the console space is because they're a business and they like money. And they are going to last as long as they can within that space while there's still an audience, while we are still willing to buy consoles. The same, even if it's the same 30 million, 40, 50 over a generation. Yeah. They're not going to throw all of that money in the trash because it's the number one spender in consoles.
I totally was on that same boat and even put a video up about the same thing. There's no way Microsoft will do anything to damage their console base when it's the only place where they can get 100%. I thought the same thing. You honestly saying to yourself that none of this stuff is in position to damage their console base?
They are still planning on making next gen hardware. Like that's what I'm thinking.
Listen, and I know a lot of people that was planning stuff. You know, Blockbuster was planning stuff too, and then they wasn't. I'm just saying.
No, listen.
Your assumption is that essentially they're not going to have hardware.
I'm presenting the question. Do you really think that the way they're positioning their console right now, that they are preparing for next gen?
Yes.
With these moves.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
All right.
But and not even not just one piece of hardware. They're going to bring a piece of hardware, and they're going to give you a handheld. There's two pieces of hardware coming in 2026, not one.
Yeah,
I think what they're doing is they're like an octopus right now. They want their tentacles everywhere. They're going to listen. They're going to get at least 30 million people to go out and buy either one or both pieces of the next gen hardware. I honestly believe that. And then you're also going to get money from Nintendo, who's going to have Call of Duty and microtransactions. You're going to put all of your other games on the Switch too. PS5 is going to have a whole bunch of games going over there, and they're going to get money from them and microtransactions. They're going to be drowning in cash. And so,
see, I don't question if them positioning themselves this way will make money. Of course, it's going to make money. They have the content, right?
But to
this
give
is the
up that
one time
30%,
they
I don't
actually
know.
have the content, right?
Yeah.
But again, how many
you're-
times can you sell a game and be the least performing platform and say to yourself, yeah, this is a good deal? I don't know.
You're not just giving up 30%. You're also giving up the largest reoccurring revenue base and also the users that spend the most money in the ecosystem. So, like,
I mean, they make more money in software and content than all the other platforms.
And the other thing, the other piece of information that I actually just thought about it because somebody mentioned Game Pass. How many console Game Pass subscriptions do they have, or Ultimate? I don't play on PC, so why would I have Game Pass? It's not going to be on.
It was
Switch.
the majority of their subscribers.
Yeah, it's on console.
They're in the mid-30s or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
mid-30s. 35 is
So expect like 28, maybe in that range.
Yeah,
console.
28 million people on console are paying for Xbox Game Pass. That's bonkers. There's no way that they give that up. Plus, again, they'd be losing that additional 30%. 30% times quite a few millions is, well, quite a few millions. Listen, everyone's had great points. J-Rock is back. J-Rock, I hope everything's all right at home, brother.
Yeah. I'm good.
Listen, Jay, before I read all the super chats, because there's quite a few of them. My God, there's 18 of them. So I got to catch up immediately. Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's get your hot take, because obviously you've been out there on the socials. You got some feelings. I want to hear what you have to say about what happened yesterday with Indiana Jones being announced right after the release date for Xbox.
Oh, you mean giving Jeff Keighley his little moment to shine? And
yeah, I mean, listen, however you want to paint it, brother. You're the artist.
No, it just looked weak. Overall, it just looked weak from a company standpoint, making it exclusive, now time exclusive. It was better off just coming day and date and just doing like they did with Doom and just ripping the Band-Aid off. I don't know. It right now, from a competitive standpoint, they look weak. I don't. There's no other way to put it, in my opinion.
From the decision, fair opinion.
Listen, it's every 3 months is a new game plan. I mean, it's like they're NFL coaches. Every week is a let's huddle up, guys. What's the new game plan for us?
As a longtime Bears fan, bro. You know.
That's Xbox, man. You're right.
This is that CFL. This is that CFL coach lineup nonsense going on.
Right.
They change when the wind changes direction. They like build a new house facing a different way to withstand it better.
That's the biggest problem.
Exactly.
Like communication with the fans is like the fans are always in limbo.
Yo, because somebody a snap up slow mo comment. He's making a great point here.
We're gonna get to it. Yeah, it's right. Telling if you go by what slow mo. Welcome, brother. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for the generosity. We'll get to
go ahead,
chat in a second.
Yeah, when Bethesda, the messaging is this is about giving Xbox gamers great games wherever Game Pass exists. Fast forward a few months later, and it changes. When it goes about Activision, it's about getting games on, and then they switch up the messaging. Then you ask Phil a question, he dodges it like he's Neo in the Matrix and gives you those political, like, I swear he could be a politician. Well, it's only these 4 games, guys, and don't take this as a sign or that any more games are coming. A few months later, listen, I said we're going to be testing the waters and see how these things work out. I'm like, Phil, come on, man, like, you got to be consistent here, man. You can't be changing your game plan 4 times in a year. Like, it kills all the hype, all the momentum that they build up. Absolutely kills it. When you go to every show and every showcase and these questions start swirling around every time, right? You know the media is going to jump on it. You know the media is going to do these clickbait titles to get you distracted and start wondering, well, is it even worth it? And then they just add on it, right? They're just like shit. It's a shit storm. Let's just sprinkle a little more ingredients on it. One more thing. Coming to PlayStation Spring to. I mean, come on, bro. What are we doing?
Yeah, I've said this before. I do again the way I felt, the way it was done. It almost seemed like it was a bit shoehorned in at the last minute, because when they said the one more thing, I who really enjoy Bethesda stuff, usually when they launch a game, they talk about future DLC. Usually that's the one more thing. Hey, we got more DLC coming.
Right.
And there is more DLC coming for Indiana Jones. It's something of giants, which tells me that there could be more after that, which this game isn't going to end. That's awesome. So take my money, please. But that is what I thought they were going to say. Not, oh, by the way, hey, man, Machine Games wants you to know PlayStation 5. I just think they didn't need to do that. They just,
boom. Now, if they bring the whole slate, right, which most of us agree on this panel that they're going to do eventually, right? Knowing Sony, how petty they could be, right? They go on stage and they demo off Gears of War Emergence Day for the PlayStation Pro and say, look how it's running on our Pro compared to the Xbox Series X.
I mean, listen, Sony is the master of marketing, and yes, they are petty. And that would be another ridiculous act. Again, I think what I'm starting to gather from this panel and what I'm starting to gather from the community is there is a loss of confidence. And that's Microsoft's own fault. That's Xbox's own fault.
Yeah, because they're not confident in their own product. Their messaging is it doesn't give you the feeling of confidence.
But for me, again, Boom, like it wasn't even necessarily about it going as a timed exclusive. If they changed that behind the scenes, it's like announcing a timed exclusive so far in advance for the other platform as like some kind of a celebration moment for the community of that platform, and in spite of the Xbox fans who they should be focusing on with the launch of that game. That's what seemed really strange, because that's not even par for the course in the industry in general.
You even heard the crowd reaction. It just sucked the air out of the room.
Yeah, it's just a weird. It's just kind of a weird energy, like, and that's why I was curious, just like why they did this in that way, because that was the strangest thing for me. Like for my confidence and I focus on myself and what my experience is. Right, there's nothing literally that has changed at all that affects me whatsoever.
Right.
So only actually this generation for the better. All the acquisitions and all these other things have caused these games to go into Game Pass day and date. Like Call of Duty this generation, I get to play day, date, and Game Pass. I didn't get to ever do that before. There's so many reasons for me to be excited about what I'm experiencing as an Xbox console gamer, right? And also as an Xbox PC gamer, that I am celebrating all these acquisitions and all these other kind of things. But it is really strange to see the messaging and marketing when you see them talk about how exclusives are important in the past, but then now in a celebration moment, months and months before this game, like it goes to PS5, mention it on stage in a celebratory fashion from Machine Games. That was the thing that's like kind of like, that's weird energy. That's strange, and you're kind of slapping your Xbox community across the face when you do that. And I think, honestly, the message that I got from it was that is them saying, hey, this diehard Xbox community, what we were, we're not listening to you guys anymore. We're just past it. But this is who we are. This is what we're going to do. And you need to learn to look at what we just did and accept it, because that's the new norm.
Yeah,
right. And the messaging the messaging behind that, right, is where I get confused with, right? Is like the justification for it's, well, the industry is changing, guys. Okay, Microsoft. Okay, Phil.
Yeah, because you're changing it, right? Like
right, because they're changing it, right?
Yeah.
But where's the evidence that the other two are taking the same approach?
Well, let's look at some of the evidence, though. Everybody just kind of wants to pile on Xbox, but
you got to show me that PlayStation and Nintendo are bringing games over to Xbox. Since now the strategy is Nintendo right now. Since the strategy is to place your games on as many platforms as possible, right? This is the mindset of everyone. That's what Phil Spencer's telling us. This is where the industry is going towards, guys. Everybody wants their games everywhere. So why is your platform being skipped?
Okay.
Why is Nintendo and PlayStation
Shall we get into it? Like, let's look at what's happening. Okay. Let's take a look at PlayStation. Is their leadership still intact?
No.
They have a new
all
leader.
Got fired. they all got fired.
Yeah.
Okay. And now they don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay. So the assumption that this is all hunky dory, they started in a position where Sean Layden was giving them all these awesome exclusive games. It was great. And then the costs kept going up and up and up and up. And they didn't know what the hell to do. So then they went to PC. That maybe saved them a few years. But then the answer was, hey, I need gas games. So they switched over to gas games. Their studios, all of them, switched them over to gas games. Half of them went away. Those games have all been canceled. What's their strategy? How are they going to make money? How do they fund the next God of War? Are they going to be able to do it? Because they were saying that was going to happen through Call of Duty. And the second that Xbox buys Call of Duty, they wouldn't be able to recover. So now let's put that in perspective. Who's got the better position right now? It's by far Xbox. It's not even close. PlayStation doesn't even know how the hell to recover. That's where they are. So let's not talk doom and gloom. The world is not over. We don't know how PlayStation is going to get out of this. They just put out Concord. 0 players.
Zero players.
Zero players.
Yeah, it was bad.
Tell me how that happens. 0 players. 0
on Steam. 0.
So that goes back to my question. If that's the dilemma PlayStation is in, why aren't they putting their games on other platforms?
They will have to figure out. Their first
on consoles.
Their first foray is Lego Horizon, where they're cowardly hiring somebody else to put it on Nintendo, but that's doing it day and day. They're gonna be doing it day and day. This is the way it starts. They're going to have to do it. Just like the baby steps that were happening. That's a game. But baby steps that were happening on the Xbox side, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. They've been doing the same bloody thing. We're going to take one game. We're going to take 2 games, put them on PC. We're not committing to the... Oh, they're all coming to PC. That's what PlayStation did, right? It's going to be years down the road. Not so much. Pretty much everything except Astro is now on PC.
Look, again, I'm not defending. Hargeet's onto something here because, again, if you look at... Remember, the messaging from PlayStation was it was going to be gas games only. And now it's not. Now it's single-player games because Until Dawn is releasing day and dates.
Right? And you get remasters and remakes and remasters and remakes and remasters and remakes. And that's pretty much it. That's what they churn out every freaking year. Remasters and remakes. Like, okay, where are the new games? So they have their own struggles to deal with. So there is some truth to that, right? We'll see where they go. It might be that they have to do the same thing. The other thing that's happening is PC is taking off. And, well, guess who owns that? That's Microsoft. It's not PlayStation. It's not Nintendo. It's Microsoft.
It's actually Steam. But go ahead.
Talk about it.
Well, you
Steam.
presume that Steam
I don't
is the
presume anything.
be-all.
I know for a fact who runs PC, and the damn sure ain't Microsoft.
Well, if you look at
who gets the most PC revenue,
the question was, will they do the?
Who makes the most PC revenue is by far Microsoft.
You're talking gaming?
Are you talking about gaming? That's a different.
We're talking about gaming, bro. Stop playing with me, man. Stop playing. We're not talking
if you're talking about gaming,
business. We're talking about gaming. This is a gaming.
Valve
show.
Makes 7 to 8 a year. Xbox makes 22
on PC.
So who's? I don't care where they make it. They make 22.
But we talking about on PC. You said who run PC?
Well, who owns PC?
Raise your hand if y'all think that Microsoft runs PC gaming. Raise your hand. Can I get a show of hand?
They absolutely do. How do you make a game on PC?
That's the point I'm making.
I don't just think of gaming.
How do you make a game on PC? You use what? What do you use?
Windows.
You use what? Microsoft's.
You can code on Linux. You don't have to code on Visual Studio at all, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck.
You can do it on Eclipse. You can do all types of things. I mean, I hear you, but you're trying to mince it, right? The point is,
no. I'm trying to tell you where things are. I'm trying to tell you where things are. You want to believe that the world is over. Okay.
No, I don't want to believe shit.
The world is over.
I don't want the world's not over for me.
The world is not over.
Nothing's over about the world.
Definitely not over for Microsoft. They're going to be making more money than ever before.
Nobody here has said Microsoft is dead. Nobody said that.
Right. This is just concerning their console fan base. Right.
You also said that the console is dying.
The
they're not going to make another console.
The console could die with
Xbox will live on for centuries without the console.
Yeah,
right?
Again,
But they have the
my
content.
pushback is you're giving up Xbox Game Pass subscribers, and you're
No,
giving
no,
up
no.
people that
I'm not
And
trying to
enthusiasts.
relitigate if the console's going to be here or not. I'm just saying no one said Xbox is dead. So fall back on the y'all think everything's over nonsense. Nobody said that. Nobody said that. I just made a conversation about the console and its position in the market going into next year. That's it. So you can go ahead, keep going with Microsoft runs PC. Go ahead, continue.
Well, no, Microsoft owns PC. That's just a fact.
Okay.
And you can keep ignoring that fact. Fine. That's okay.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that Windows comes in with a lot of revenue every year, but fair enough. You don't think they do? That's fine. Okay. But that is going to start merging.
Don't put words in my mouth, man. That's not what I said.
Well,
but go ahead.
I mean, it is what it is. What do you want me to tell you? So now you can merge those two spaces together and you finally have a console that does everything. And that's kind of where they're looking to go, right? They want Steam on the Xbox. Well, how do you do that? It's Windows. You just make it Windows. It's just what it is. So the next console is going to
be a Windows box.
Far more Windows.
You're going to be able to play Steam on your next Xbox. That's a given.
Y'all are repeating stuff that's been said for 2 years. I hear you, and nobody never said nothing about Microsoft not moving to a more PC-based concept. We know that.
Well, that's hardware. That's hardware, is it not?
That is hardware. That was the prior
idea. Have hardware, what's the issue?
But who knows if that's still going to happen?
But why would they want Steam on Xbox if they dominate PC anyway?
Why would they want Steam on Xbox? It's because they have all the games, right?
Oh, okay, all right.
What's the issue? Why is there such a fight? I guess. What are you fighting here?
Listen, there is no fight.
I'm just debating logistics. It's not a fight.
Right. There's going to be hardware next generation, and Microsoft is working on that literally right now. I can tell you for a fact, I've spoken to people about the hardware. There's going to be hardware. Yep. There is going to be hardware.
Yeah, we know. Sarah, they wouldn't make Sarah Bond the head of hardware and not let her release at least one generation of hardware.
Well, she's going to get at least one generation and probably much more, because again, there's a whole theory that I have. But listen,
that's probably all there was going to be anyway, is one more generation.
Yes.
My whole thing is if the biggest selling point for the next console hardware, whatever it is going to be Steam on the Xbox, why don't I just migrate to PC and start building up my library of games?
Feel free. They would be happy to do that. That'd be great for them. Absolutely do that. But if you don't like the like sort of Windowsiness of it, that's what they're going to try to help you with.
That's why I play on consoles. Listen, I want to bring it everyone, but everyone, I got to catch some super chats. I am so behind. First of all, the first super chat of the day comes the way of Jay Slay. Drops a very generous $10 super chat, and he goes on to say, "So I get my game first and free in my service, while the other guy has to wait 3 to 6 months and pay full boat. And I'm the one that's losing? If I'm a pony, I'd be highly upset." You're not wrong. Jose Barajas drops a very generous $5 super chat. You see the roll of the tongue there? See, I am Hispanic. You see that? He says consoles only make up 5% of their revenue. Multi-plat is key for their success. Bigger franchises are a win for them and for gamers. You're right, Jose, 100%. JD Gamer drops a $2 super chat and says, they announced it because it already had leaked. I mean, there's definitely, I've heard that talk as well, JD. Welcome as always. Man. Yeah. RC Polygons drops a $5 super chat and says, so all because one game is coming to PlayStation 5, the entire lineup of all 50-ish titles doesn't matter. Just one game going to PlayStation gets you butthurt. I mean, listen, I don't think it's going to stop. It didn't stop at the 4. It's not going to just stop at Indiana Jones. They're going to put way more games on PlayStation. And I think that PlayStation's going to do the same exact thing. I know they're petty, but they want to make money, and they're just not making money right now. JD Gamer has been a channel member, holy matrimony, for 55 months. Bro, thank you for the support. He says, unfortunately, because Microsoft is stateside and they speak English versus Japanese, it means that more things get leaked and it sucks. With that said, they could have been a little clearer in what games and when they were going to go. Messaging, man, it's their Achilles heel.
I don't think they know that, though, right? So, you know, they're going to keep learning. What if this thing doesn't sell? What if Indiana Jones goes over there and doesn't sell over there? Like, they're just going to keep learning. I assume it'll do well, but I don't know that, right? So we'll see, and they don't know that either, right? So it really just comes down to each game that makes sense. They'll look at putting it there, right? They're still going to have exclusives, but they might all be timed. That is a possibility. They might be, you know, hey, these ones are core and we won't move them over there, but these ones can, right? All the Bethesda games maybe are timed. I think the Bethesda, that's a possibility, right?
I mean,
I would assume all of ABK is going to be everywhere. They're not going to make anything ABK exclusive.
I mean, the Redfalls of the world will stay exclusive, right?
Of course, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Redfall's definitely staying
because that is kind of
quality. That's
that
Xbox quality at home, right? Just keep it.
Well, listen, let me continue. I'll get up to at least half. I got to get at least 13 because we have 25 here, and then I'll get the second half. JD Gamer drops $2 super chat and says, "By the way, pathetic port begging pony still got no games." Indeed, that is true. G Mania 1 drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "I have 2 Xbox Series X and was going to get the new 2 terabyte Galaxy Black. I was shocked to see it was $800 Canadian. Wow.
Yeah, 600 US.
That's about right? 600 800. Right?
Now I can't decide if it's worth getting because it looks cool. I'm getting it because I want 4 terabytes of storage. I have the one card, and I'm going to trade in my Launch X, and GameStop's giving almost $300 for it. So I only got to pay half.
Really?
Yeah, $300 almost $300. Yeah, which is great.
I might just do that.
That's what I'm doing for the 2 terabytes. Chaos Mite, good friend of the program, drops not one but 2 $10 super chats. And the first one, he says, Xbox is a second-class citizen to its PC counterpart. You pay more than PC, but Towerborn is going to PC first. Xbox is becoming a third party that treats its own supporters like pay pigs. He goes on
to say,
have you all
read the article about that? I mean, I don't know if people have looked into why. They've explained why, but it seems like people are all upset about whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, wait a minute. Hargeet, can you explain why to the people in case they didn't read it?
So essentially, the team started working as much as they can, and now they haven't done this kind of game, right? So they're like, we're learning, and we're going to play a platform at a time to try to figure this out. And we don't know what we're going to have in the end for this game, so we're learning with you, the players, in a preview mode, and it's just tough for them to do multiple at the same time. So they're like, we'll do this one first. Now you'll come and say, why not do it on the PC version of Game Pass or the Microsoft Store? Fair enough. You can push back on that. They just picked Steam first. A lot of these preview things happen on Steam, and they just wanted to get the preview feedback, and then they'll do the same preview, by the way, on Xbox when they're ready to do one on Xbox. And they'll see what the feedback is and see if they can fix it, make it work, and then give you the game. It's supposed to be free to play in the end, I think, something like that.
Yeah, free to play.
Yeah, it's free to play.
Yeah.
Didn't that Monster Hunter game do preview on both Xbox and Power World?
Yeah, it's a quality level they can't reach, and that's their headache, right? And so they don't want to put out a game that's going to be buggy. They're trying to make and this is the problem with a small team. Monster Hunter has probably like 300 people working on it. How big is Stoic? This is the thing, right? They're not.
Stoic is small studio.
So it is what it is. I get it when it comes to small teams. I'm usually okay. I'll give them leeway. It's a small team, right? Whatever.
So
give them.
So Hargeet, how do we explain the language? Like, what was it necessary for them to actually use language in their graphic that says Steam timed exclusive?
Did they say that?
Yeah, they did because you don't matter. Yes, it did. It did.
They literally said that. That's what they
literally said
that. Steam
in the first line of the fine print. Exclusive Steam.
Yeah.
Exclusive preview
team
or exclusive
team. Steam timed exclusive.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So they did that, then, right? That would have to be Stoic did that. I don't remember seeing that, but
no, that's
no. It was there. It was on the Xbox. Go to Xbox Wire and take a look at the image. It's on the Xbox.
Is Gabe Newell paying for the development of the game?
Say again, Jay?
Is Gabe Newell paying for the development of the game or something?
No, Microsoft is. Adam 22. So,
all right, Hargeet, check your phone. I just text you.
So he goes, KS Mike drops a second $10 super chat, says, I have Game Pass Ultimate and a BitT GPU to my family. But is there any reason to invest in Xbox in the future? For me, it is. I don't know about for anyone else, but for me, it absolutely is. JD Gamer drops a $5 super chat and says, PlayStation just proved that with a good game, or at least a game in that market is starved for, a la Monkey King in China, now that community is buying PS5s. I mean, yeah, it's selling a lot of PS5s because people are enjoying the game, but also people are enjoying it on Steam. So I don't know how many people are going to go out and buy a PS5 when they can play on PC. And China's more PC.
Yeah, they're more PC centric.
Yeah, they're definitely PC centric as opposed to console. Maxi Coleman drops a very generous $5 super chat and says a Sony message would read other platforms spring 2015 or 2025. They wouldn't even mention us. That dude, you're 1,000%.
They wouldn't even say other platherms. I mean, they would just make you believe it's a console exclusive forever.
Yeah.
And then until it's not.
Yeah, that 100%, Mav.
Yep.
G Mania drops a very generous additional $5 super chat and says, now that we know Indie's going to PS5, the media can't review bomb it. I mean,
oh no, they still can. Don't worry. Call of Duty went to PS5, and it still got freaking trashed.
Yeah, the timing of that trashing was also to correspond with the purchase of the IP. So.
Yeah, I mean, plus it wasn't.
Call of Duty gets trashed on every year anyway, though, from Games Media.
Not to that level. My God, that gets trashed.
Yeah.
They were like a 3 or something like that, right? It's a wild score.
Yeah, but I think
really
they outdid their normal 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so listen, I will get to. Hold on a sec. Let me just get these next 4, and then we'll bring in Everborn. Web Dave, hey brother, welcome, brother. Thank you so much for the very generous $2 super chat. He goes, boom, Mav, Hargeet, Pixelbit, and Pixelbit G, Fire, Mega Panel. Hit the like button, brother. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for the generosity. Big Pile of Puke, who is a PlayStation fan. And of course, everyone here is welcome. He drops a $2 super chat and says, Xbox don't buy games. Ponies bought 73 million Q1 2024. But that's because you don't have a service that allows you, like a Netflix or like a Hulu or any of your streaming services, to pay a monthly amount of money and get your games there. There's nothing wrong with that. And you know what's interesting? And this is a stat, and you can go look it up yourself. People buy more games than Xbox, brother. I don't know if you want to believe it or you don't. That's fine. But don't champion. See, again, I don't know you, so I'm not going to put words in your mouth. And I can't suggest that you were one of these folks that said, oh, no, I'll pay $100 the next God of War. I hope not. Don't say things like that. And don't be happy spending $76 when you can play a game, the exact same game, in a service for under $20. It doesn't make any sense. And the whole thing of you owning the games, you don't own your game, dude. You own a disc that you can put your water on, like me. Put your water on here. Boop, there's your disc. Because at the minute they shut the game off,
you own a license to use.
The license to use. That is it.
Which
you
can
don't
be
own
revoked
the
at any
actual
time.
game.
Which can be revoked at any time.
It absolutely can, and Sony has done
just
that.
Saying, and just saying, and just by the way, chat, like, this is entertainment, right? This is not like there's no beef going on here.
No, come on,
all
guys.
Entertainment.
I don't know, man. I hate every single one of you guys.
Point, right? I got love for everybody in this chat. So
Screw all of
you. All right.
And I keep saying this, guys. The average revenue per user is exactly the same between Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
So it's a baloney statement that Xbox players don't buy games. They pay just as much for gaming as PlayStation.
They do.
Players.
It's just look up the facts. But I appreciate the super chat. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Will, I'm going to get to your brother. Let me just bring this up so I don't lose my place. And Everborn Saga, welcome back, dude. My God, it's been like forever. Let's get your hot take, because we were talking on the phone. You seem a little disgusted. Has that changed or gotten worse?
I mean, there's a lot of things going on, and I think that in the discourse, in the gaming discourse, in the community, we can get ourselves stuck into this sort of binary line of thinking where it's like, it's the Talladega Nights thinking, right? If you're not first, you're last, right? So multiple things can be true at once. That being said, I have some notes, so bear with me here.
Yeah, do you think?
Like, the message coming out of Xbox, to my mind, could not be more clear, right? And that is, we dare you to leave, right? Because the fact is, anyone, like, no amount of, you know, crying, gnashing of teeth, ripping out of the hair, rendering your garments and all of that, none of that is going to change what they're doing,
No,
right?
it's not.
So you can get mad all you want, or you can like debate what they're doing all you want. That's not going to change anything. You would be better off thinking about this in terms of what is best for you, because they are doing what is going to be best for them. And what does that mean? If Activision were the ones to acquire Bethesda, if Microsoft spun off Xbox Game Studios and Activision acquired that as well, would you call Activision weak? I wouldn't. I'd say they were one of the biggest publishers out there. So, you know, it's not necessarily they're doing this from a position of weakness. This is from a position of strength. It is just that the platform holder business is what we have to get our heads away from. Because how many times are they going to tell you, and how many times are they going to show you that your feelings as a fan don't matter? And every time any one of us comes on here and says, well, I still get the games get day one, I still get Game Pass, what they are saying is, we know that, and we don't think you're going to leave. We think you're going to cry about it. But at the end of the day, you're still subscribed till 2026. So what are you going to do? Right? And they think that because they're providing you with some value, that is good enough for you to stay. And when they say they have the highest console users ever, that is because 7 of the top 10 played games are from games that are cross-platform, multi-platform, right? So a lot of people upgraded for the college football because they had to. But the reality is Minecraft, Apex Legends, Call of Duty, GTA 5, right? Roblox, Fortnite are all cross-platform. And so for every one of us hardcore people that's like, I don't play that shit, or this is effed up, there's 10 of those casuals. And now they own Call of Duty, and they own Diablo and everything else that they own through what they acquired. And what they're basically telling you is, your services are no longer needed. We don't believe you're going to go, but they do a calculation. They say, maybe we'll lose this % of the hardcore from these decisions. We'll lose the Tim Dogs. We'll lose the Pixels. We'll lose the Everborns. We'll lose the J-Rocks, right? But how much are we gaining from the extra 2-3 million people that are now playing Sea of Thieves, and the extra people that are going to buy this thing? And if that number is higher, these are cold equations, folks. If that number is higher of people that they're going to gain, they're happy to risk losing a 20-year fan. Your feelings, my feelings, don't matter.
Yeah.
Right? And again, I'm not saying this to defend them, right? I made a decision back in April that they're no longer talking to me. And so I moved over to PC. I connected the PC to the big LG CX OLED. I got the Steam Deck. Now I'm on the ROG Ally X. I still got my Game Pass subscription, so I still get to play their games, and they put everything on Steam, and I will be playing Towerborn before all of my Xbox brethren.
Yep.
Right? And so again, they don't, you just have to get it right. Like, you will save yourself a lot of trouble if you just start thinking of them as a third-party publisher. That doesn't mean the whole slate is third party. It might mean that, but even Activision had some games that only came to PlayStation, right? Bethesda had some games that only came to PlayStation or only came to Xbox, right? So again, no one, when Borderlands 4 got announced, no one said, oh my God, they're putting it on all platforms, right? So that's that. Now, that I just wanted to get that out of the way. And one more tidbit in terms of why this might be happening. And we all like to forget this.
The FTC.
The FTC is still trying to break this deal apart. And you don't have to believe what I'm saying. You can believe Microsoft in their quarterly filing, where they said if the FTC prevails in trying to break up the deal, it would adversely affect the business. They said this, not me.
No,
right?
they did say that. I read it.
What was the FTC's argument? Their primary argument. It was a stupid argument, and that's why they lost.
Stuff.
But they're still making it. They said, you promised it would be a case by case, and now you're making these things exclusive. And their argument was, well, Sony makes stuff exclusive, blah, 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 right? But they went and they literally brought up Indiana Jones and all this other stuff. And so now that they're on the hook for their $70 billion, they don't care about Everborn's feelings. They don't care about Fun Speculation's feelings. They don't care about Hargeet's feelings. They're on the hook for that. And nothing we say is going to change the fact that there is a risk, and they cannot take that risk. Before, if it didn't go through, they were only on the hook $3 billion. A lot of money, but not $70 billion. So just keep that in mind when you wonder why they did it in the way they did. Now I want to speak to the heart, which is, this was the dumbest and worst way you could have rolled this out. My God, are there idiots running comms?
Yep.
Listen to this. On the day where all Xbox players had to watch everyone else having fun with the biggest game launch of the year, Black Myth Wukong, which was supposed to come to the platform, but Game Science said, you know what? We don't really care if we piss off the Xbox fans. They can wait, because guess what? You're not enough. Right? So we, as an Xbox fan, you gotta eat that.
Everborn, don't they know about the new strategy? You want your games on as many platforms as possible.
You want your game on as many platforms that matter.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And what they're saying to you is being on Xbox day one didn't matter.
Don't matter.
Right? And so while you're
according
feeling
to the numbers,
that,
it didn't end up mattering actually. They were okay.
But
like 2 million.
But here's
crazy.
But here's the thing. While we are feeling all of that, of not being able to play a game that was promised to us because the platform didn't matter, because there weren't enough people there, that is the day when Microsoft decides to do an Apple-style one more thing to say, by the way, the one game that you were looking for, because we already told you that Towerborn and Avowed was coming out this year, but we changed our minds. Now we're going to let you know the one game that you did have to look forward to, by the way, that's for the streets. And here's the thing. They didn't have to do that. They could have put it there in the spring of next year, and they could have waited till 2 weeks before, but they were more concerned with making PlayStation fans feel okay that they weren't getting this game than they were with you as an Xbox fan. Now, I am a Windows Phone refugee. I am a Surface Duo 1 and 2 user. I was a Microsoft Zune user.
Yeah.
Groove Music user.
Hey, were you also a CE guy like me?
You damn right I was.
I know you was.
Right? And listen, remember Windows Mobile 6.5? Listen, this is what they do. Because I remember in the end of the Windows Phone days, what we noticed is, wait a minute, you're putting Office on the iPhone? That was the primary driver to the platform. Why are you doing that? Then we was like, okay, they're putting it there, but we got the features first. And then iPhone started getting the features before the Windows Phone. And then we just stopped getting the features, right? And when that happened, when Microsoft stopped supporting the Windows Phone or went late, you know what Chase and Bank of America did? They said, you know what? It's not really worth putting our banking app on that platform because there's not enough people there, right? And so again,
and remember when the great games came out and the game developers were like, you know what? Yeah, we're not going to code that for Windows Phone either.
Right. And so I've been here before. I know what they're doing. Right.
I see the pattern.
And so we can say they said, I'm not making any predictions about what they will do next gen in terms of hardware. Right. But what I am saying is you trust them as far as you can throw them. Right. Because it is not show friends. It's show business.
Indeed.
And so they said they're making new hardware and they were committed. They also said that Bethesda was where Game Pass would exist. They said all the games they showed you in 2022 were coming out in the next 12 months. They said that it was only 4 games. So what they say really doesn't hold a lot of weight. They're going to do what they need to do for the business. And don't ask yourself why they're doing this. Ask yourself, would Strauss Zelnick do this? Would Bobby Kay do this? Would the CEO of EA do this?
Of course he would.
That's how you'll know what they'll do, because at the end of the day, right? Let me just reel it back because I wanted to and I don't, by the way, I don't say that in a bad way. I say that to say you have to start looking at them as the largest third-party publisher in the world. Maybe second largest if you count Tencent, but we'll call it largest in the West, right? And they acquired third-party companies, third-party publishers. And then those publishers, their whole business model is predicated on being everywhere.
Yep.
Right? And so you can't just break that and say, hey, we're going to take $8 billion for Bethesda. We're going to take $70 billion for Activision. And now we're going to cut off half their sales or more than half their sales. And then the other half that we're going to keep for us, we're going to offer that in our service. It doesn't work. Right? Now, I'm not saying that to say Game Pass doesn't work. Right? Because Game Pass does work if you are Microsoft. A service like Game Pass may not work if you are PlayStation. In the same way that putting games on Xbox doesn't make a lot of business sense right now for PlayStation, but it does for Xbox. They're different companies. They have different drivers. They have different balance sheets. They have different margins that they have to hit. And I will leave it with this, and then we can move on because I know I've been very long-winded.
No, that's all right. We're going to get to the super chats and we're going to get everyone out of here. It's only a 90-minute show.
What you have to ask yourself about the future of Xbox is every other business in Microsoft brings home an average of a 40% margin. That's how that company is designed, right? Now, we know that in gaming, those margins are less. The margins are razor thin. And we know because PlayStation does 10, 12% margins every year, sometimes less, because of the Bungie debacle or whatever. We also know Nintendo's doing like 25% margins, right? But Nintendo is not trying to, they're very good at keeping their costs down. But if you are Microsoft, right? And I'm not saying this is out of Phil's hands, because I think that's a little bit of a cop-out that we give Phil and Sarah and Matt too much credit. They are the SLTs, right? That's the senior leadership team. They're like all they have as a mandate is we need these margins. After that, it is on them. They are choosing to make these decisions. Do not let Phil Spencer or Sarah Bond, or we love Sarah Bond, but don't let none of them off the hook. They're well paid and they are not above criticism. Now, ask yourself this. Let's say you are running a business, right? And you know that you have regulators breathing down your neck solely because of making exclusives, right? What are you going to say when you know, hey, Xbox business on its own before Bethesda, you were razor thin margins. Maybe you were 15% on accountability margins, whatever that means, right? Now, Bethesda comes in here, Activision comes in here with their balance sheet, and they are making more money in profit than your entire platform every year. And they're everywhere. So why are you only in this one place? How much does it cost for customer acquisition? In order for you to, what does that mean? You want to win back market share. How much do you have to spend? And how much money do you have to lose over time in loss leader strategies in order to bring a customer over? Because it's not one game. Phil wasn't lying when he said that, right? It would take a series of wins over probably a whole generation and a lot of money that you spend where you're going to make great content. And because people are still learning to come back to the platform, a lot of games that you spend a lot of money on won't get the credit or money that they deserve. And it will take maybe 5-10 years to go and change things back to where it was. Are you going to do that? If you're running that business, it's easy for us to say, hey, don't do this because of you know, I'm a long time customers. It's not my feelings, right? They lied to you. If you're a customer, they lied to you and they should be called out for that. So I don't think it's just feelings.
Yeah, it ain't just feelings.
It is
that you spent.
What it is business.
Are you not getting
and
your
feelings don't matter, right? So again, right? If we know Activision makes all this money more than you do by being everywhere, why are you still only in this one place? And furthermore, if Activision can do all of this without having the biggest draw, because remember, Xbox was making $16 billion a year, which is they had more revenue than Nintendo, but nowhere near the profit. Why? Because of that hardware business. So the question is, if you are running this business, what are you going to do? Or forget about what you want to do. How are you going to explain that to the money people? So understand what this is going. And the last thing I will say is, as long as you keep saying it's fine because I'm getting my games day one for now, because you didn't get Towerborn, you didn't get that, but whatever. And the windows, listen, the windows are shortening. Just like we make fun of PlayStation for saying, wait, you said it was only single player or multiplayer games. Now you're doing single player games. You said it was only one game. Now it's all of these games. You said it was years apart. Now it's 1 year. Now it's a few months. Now you're day and date with games.
Same thing here.
Hargey's been saying that forever.
So you can tell yourself whatever you want, right? But as long as you keep saying, well, I got Game Pass and I get it for free and they got to pay for it, you are giving them the okay to keep doing this.
And Everborn, that's only for Game Pass Ultimate, because if you're standard, PlayStation most likely will get that game before
you do.
But as a consumer, if I'm happy with that experience, then why can't I feel that way?
Listen,
because
you can,
you know what I mean? Like,
I'm not making any moral arguments. I am just saying the idea that the hardcore think this is going to cause a mass exodus. I believe for every one of us that leaves, they have 10
They
more
got 10
people
new- they got
that,
10 new
that are
normies.
hardcore people playing
Yep.
COD day in and day out and spending all the money over there. So again, if your concern is the games that you're missing, if your concern is being treated like a second-class citizen, now if you want to be on console, right? I'm not gonna be caught dead saying I'm gonna go switch to PlayStation. I'm not gonna pull one of those characters.
Yeah, I don't think you've heard anybody say that.
But
when you say they'll
Oh, well,
get
there's
10 more,
some. I've
they'll
seen
get 10
a
more
lot of them.
normies. When you say they will
Yeah.
get 10 more normies, right, for each person that exits the console, you're not saying 10 more people purchasing the console. You're just saying
But they're gonna get 10 more
we're
people
gonna
buy the
have
games
10 more.
or invest
Listen,
in
wait
the
a minute.
games.
Let me square this circle
Right.
now. Is the 30% cut, like loss, the 30% markdown that they get by being in every other more popular platform, is that more or less than what it costs them to maintain their platform? Yes or no?
It's
The
an
question
interesting
should
question, and
also
it'd be
be-
good to know where that inflection point is, right? Because
And
it's a
the
lot for
question
them to
is it
subsidize
more or
the
less
hardware.
of the 30% that they lose on every sale for every game for people that are not on their platform playing games?
Well, it's
Right?
30%
Come again,
it's
Pixel?
on another store versus 30% of they get a cut from everybody else. On
Yeah,
their
but
platform, right?
but here's the thing, right? For
But
every
they pay
person
you
who
to be on the
doesn't play,
platform.
yes, they pay you to be on their platform. But for everyone who is not on their platform buying games, what is the value of that person? Right? The loss of every third-party game not being purchased on your platform.
Okay, sure.
I think
but
just
then
include that in your calculation.
Right.
But
But
how much
another
is that?
thing, if we're going to include that, we also have to look at, we can look at Circana, right? And we can look how recently, I think 7 of the top 10 played games on Xbox were first-party games.
On PlayStation.
What was
you
that?
mean?
No.
Oh,
Well,
on
maybe
Xbox.
PlayStation 2, but I'm saying on Xbox, right? They had Call of Duty, another Call of Duty, Minecraft, Diablo, Overwatch. I think they had Starfield back in there, and one other game that's a first-party game for them. Oh, Fallout, right? So 7 out of their top 10, like Nintendo would even tip their hats to that. So if they own so much IP that is shifting towards their number one drivers on their platform are their first-party stuff, if that stuff is everywhere, I'm just saying it's not loyalty, it is math.
Yes.
And if you don't like that, and I didn't like it, that's why, and we can have the later conversation, but boom, I will be back next week.
Yes.
We can have the later conversation is when they send you over to PC or when they send you to cloud, are they giving you the best experience? And by the way, just as an example of how dumb this was, there are more people talking about Indiana Jones on PlayStation than they are talking about it being on Xbox.
Yes.
Just from a basic comms perspective, they bungled this.
Exactly why it was a fail. That was
Yeah,
just such a stupid way to do it.
Well, unless they're trying to give you the Windows Phone message. If we know we want to wind this down,
yeah, I'm sorry.
Let's
what
push
was the
away.
Windows Phone message? Just could you clarify what that message
this is not you are not enough. You are not a priority, and the more valuable users to us is where we have to put our software. And so those PlayStation users who were bummed out and may have been considering getting an Xbox for Indiana Jones.
Now or not. They're not buying it.
No.
Like I said earlier.
But they were
ended that
concerned
show with what with the
right.
The last thing they said was the most important thing they said.
They were more concerned with those people not having to get an Xbox than they were with Xbox people feeling like at least they got that W to look forward to at the end of the year. And they could have let it come out, and they could have waited till they'll develop a direct in January to say, by the way, or they could have did it in a blog post. You didn't have to do it that way. They either don't care or they're sending a very clear message.
Well, Everborn, let me ask you this, Everborn. Ultimately, what do you think happens with their hardware division moving forward, especially next gen, right? Where we start back from zero. And you have to entice these people once again to reinvest into your ecosystem when they see the side-by-side comparisons of these next gen consoles or whatever it is they release. What do you think ultimately happens? Because right now it's easy to say, well, you're not going to leave, but when you wipe the board clean and we're going to start over for the next generation, what do you think happens?
So I think the concept of generations died with the PS360 gen, right? Once they moved over to x86, we were in the world of min spec. Yep. So I don't think it's a matter of that, because what you have to ask is, will the top 10 most played games today, or let's say top 7 most played games today, be different in the beginning of that generation than they are today? And if they are not, and they still support those platforms, we have to, we are very tuned into this. So this is more disrespectful to us than it is to the broader
normies. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
A lot of them don't know that this is happening,
and they don't care. You know what it is? They also don't care.
But there is a risk, right? And so, and I'm sorry that I'm going on with this, but the risk that you run by completely alienating your base, which, by the way, you leaned on when the media and everything wasn't going your way. They were in all the podcasters' ears trying to get the message out. And now that they don't need you anymore, you know, phone calls aren't getting returned. And that's why you know who went the way that they did. But again, in terms of next gen, I cannot make any promises of what they'll do, right? And so we can, I feel like we are telling ourselves that, yes, they're going to do this mythical box that has Steam, and it's going to be Windows based, and they're going to sort out the UI situation, and it will be able to get all our past games, so we won't have to walk away from that, and they're going to get all of that right.
And it's going to be the most powerful console. So when
it's also going to be a PC,
is not running better.
It'll forever be what you think it is, because it's all in your imagination.
Right.
Yeah, but don't think powerful. I don't think that's going to happen.
Even if you don't think powerful, right? They're going to give us a handheld.
So Hargy, you're saying the competition is going to have the best version of your games? Is that what you're saying?
No, the 4090, the 5090, that's what's going to have the best version of your game.
So just really quickly on that point. So I am at a point of
just finish this point.
I'm gonna finish this point. Yeah. I will believe, and I'll give them a shot, but I will believe only what they can put in my hand and not any promises they make. And I feel like a lot of us in the community are sort of trying to will that sort of PC hybrid box into existence. And that it's not necessarily the case that they will do it. And the reason for that is, if you're on PC and you know what big picture mode is, I want you to compare that to the Xbox app on PC. How much progress have they made making that user experience?
Well, they're doing that now.
And then
again,
they're doing it now, but 2 years, do we think Valve is just going to stop? Because Valve is already talking about making a Steam OS for Windows.
They are.
Now, who do you have more faith in making a UI? The people who their Xbox PC app, their launcher has trouble launching games, and their PC app. And listen, I know there are people listening to this show, no disrespect, but you know you got to fix this, right? And I don't care what PlayStation does, so we could say no PlayStation 6. Like, that PlayStation's irrelevant to me, right? So forget about that. What I'm saying is, do we really believe, because all we got so far was a beta for the game bar. Meanwhile, Valve is not standing still.
Let's
The
not go
big
down this
picture
mode.
mode.
Okay,
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. All I'm saying is, in terms of next gen, are we really sure that they can do all those things? And I don't know that they can. That's all I'm saying.
No, I mean, again, I have faith that they're gonna do it, but that's me because well, maybe I'm a blind fanboy, but I talk to people behind the scenes and they're cooking. I know right now it's for a lot of people, Xbox is dead. Some people are saying that
dead.
I'm leaving the brand. I'm going to
Listen,
PC.
Boom.
Whatever. Man.
Xbox is dead. Long live Xbox. Xbox will outlive every one of us here on this panel. They are the biggest and baddest publisher around
on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, make no mistake.
But there you go.
Yeah. Well, listen, first of all, we had over 900 people here today. A big thank you to everyone that tuned in. Let me catch up on these last super chats. We'll get everyone out of here. Will Broke Boy Lewis says this after dropping a $2 super chat. Console wars are over. It's now about the content wars. 100%. Whoever has the most IPs that are on everyone's box is going to be making money. And again, I've said this for years. Xbox Game Pass is ultimately the exclusive. And if that doesn't work for you, I hear you, but I'm not leaving the brand. 9 Lives 210 drops a $2 super chat and says Beast PC is becoming a no-brainer now for a lot of people. Yes, absolutely. Chris R drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, I agree that that Game Pass is great, but why does it feel like we need to remind Xbox of that? When is the last time they advertise Game Pass to non-gamers or people that probably already have it? Dude, that's a great question. I have no idea. Their messaging and marketing is just egregious. It just is. When is it going to get better? I don't know, honestly. JD Gamer drops a $5 super chat and says, I'm not a $1 trillion money company, nor will I pretend that I'm smarter than a company that accomplishes what MS or PlayStation have. These companies are, and continued, in their own direction, and that's okay. Xbox doesn't have to do what PlayStation does. MS has the money to change the industry, and that is what they are doing. That's another $5 super chat. Slow-mo black backslap. Brother, thank you so much for being here. Slow-mo, I missed you, dude. We got to get you back on. He says this after dropping a very generous $5 super chat. So far, this is the same playbook they've used for Windows Phone and day-and-date games on PC. Slow drip the hard truth instead of being upfront with it. You're not wrong. JD Gamer drops an additional $5 super chat and says FOMO is real and forcing PlayStation players to wait 6 months to a year for these increasingly good Xbox games, and Game Pass will have some PS players move to Xbox. Yeah, but again, like a 3-month block is not going to make people buy a box.
Yeah, it's 3 months.
And that's
but
what I agree with Hargeet. That was it's just dumb.
Not in this economy, Boom.
No, it's not, absolutely not. Especially when these boxes are $500 or like the new Xbox 2 terabytes.
Yeah, it's just so dumb.
Just ridiculous. Gregory Woods drops a $5 super chat. And Gregory, welcome to the program, brother. He says, I think that it's just a move to secure the next publisher. They can tell regulators that they are actually giving exclusives to other platforms. Hargeet and I both agree on that. This is an FTC play, but I'm not making excuses, folks. Not one excuse from me. Igmatic Dreams drops a $5 super chat and says Xbox is x86 architecture. I'm sorry, Xbox is static PC, same as PS5. Square, bring back Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve was really dope. Thank you guys for all you do, brother. Thank you so much for the generosity and, of course, always being here. Igmatic Dreams. Roshan Impenger drops a $5 super chat and says, it is not show friends, it's show business. Obviously, everyone said that. He says
I gotta trademark that.
You should. He says that goes both ways with my dollars, and it's not personal. JD Gamer drops an additional $5 super chat and says, I expect the next gen Xbox to be a console with a pinned Steam and Epic Game Store launcher, and the benefit will be console experience with PC versatility. 1,000%.
Yeah, that's very similar to that.
And that's what I want. Slow-mo backslap drops an additional $5 super chat and says, I can get an official Windows OS key for the course of a super chat. Microsoft does not dominate gaming on PC simply because they make the most popular OS. We have Dan Lazaro drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Doom and Gloom makes us turn on these pods. Some folks just need to go to PlayStation and PC. Games are supposed to be fun, and some just don't know how to have fun anymore. Listen, no one's fighting here. I know there's going to be some podcasts that people are going to be throwing haymakers. It's unnecessary. You have your opinion. We can talk like gentlemen, and if we don't agree, we just walk away. You go left, I go right. We don't agree. That's perfectly fine. Dan, thanks so much for being here, brother. Roberto Z drops a $5 super chat and says, I say send the catalog over. Let Xbox pimp S out of Sony. When that Sony top 10 or 20 list comes out, Xbox will get that Pimp of the Year trophy. Oh, my goodness. Will Broke Boy Lewis drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, I called my local GameStop and they said they will not be getting the 2 terabyte Series X. Said besides Microsoft Store, only retailer to get it will be Best Buy. That sucks. Black Ronin drops a very generous $10 super chat. Black Ronin, great to see you here, brother. He says, why do people act like they didn't rent games during the Blockbuster days and Gamefly days and then buy it later if they want it? Game Pass does that and better. Pony's paying for the next gen Xbox games.
Hey, Boom, everybody that complains about renting games are all subscribed to Netflix. So they're all also
clowns,
shut the F up.
We've all been renting games for 20 years. So like,
I'm 100%.
And if you wasn't renting back in the freaking 90s, you were bootlegging them. Don't act like you
absolutely.
Game Genie.
Game Genie, indeed. The last super chat of the day comes the way of Pixie Q. Welcome to the program. Drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, you're wrong about physical games. 88% have the complete game on disc. Source, does it play.org. With peace and love, please don't misinform your audience. But I'm not, and I appreciate you being here, and of course the generosity. You're renting the license. If they shut off that license, you can have the game. You can't play it offline. What games can you play offline? Practically nothing. It's not
the old games might work on older generations. I think 360
older generation. We're talking about. I'm not talking about
past.
360 or the PS3 or Nintendo cartridges. I'm talking about
gone now, bud.
Games now on these consoles. If they shut that license off, it's a coaster. It's a freaking coaster because you can't play. These consoles need to be checked in every 24 hours. And if they can't check the game in, you'll say the game doesn't work.
Right. You won't be playing Concord 20 years from now, even if you wanted to.
They won't be playing Concord 30 days from now, kind sir. But listen.
Wow.
Let's again, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Let's get everyone out of here. Apologies, it went a little bit longer. Mav, let's sell your brand, brother. Where could people subscribe to Fun Speculation? You do 4 and 5 shows a week. Obviously, the next one coming up tomorrow is PM in the PM with Pong Soul. I know that you guys are going to have to go. You're going to go ham on that. Brother, sell the brand. Where can people help you continue to grow the Mav Speculation Network? And more importantly, get on that choo-choo mother, father, sister, brother train that you consistently talk about.
Yeah, man. This was a fun time. Lots of great discussions. You said it, Boom. Tomorrow we'll have PM in the PM. 7 p.m. Eastern time with Pong Soul and I know he's got a lot to say. This is just a crazy another time that eventually we'll just kind of look back on. This will be like one of those signs or messaging point where we realize things have kind of changed even more in the Xbox universe, whatever. But again, for me, I just focus on my experience and talk about the things that I'm interested in. And for me, it's still a lot of things to look forward to on Xbox. So we'll be covering a lot of the games that are shown at Gamescom as well. And a lot of that stuff. So come check out that tomorrow. Friday nights, we got Xbox Ultimate Podcast at 10 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, Boom, this is great. It's great seeing Hargeet, Pixelbit, J-Rock came through, Everborn. Everybody had good thoughts and stuff. And crazy discussions, man. Fun Speculation on YouTube. Check it out.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Hargeet China, let's sell your brand, brother. Besides your book that's on the screen, obviously called Emergence, where could people subscribe to your YouTube channel? Because you do content there. And of course, you're not on social media, which is fine, but you can reach out to him on Discord and of course on Xbox. Sell it, brother. Where can people subscribe to your YouTube channel, buy your book, and find you not on social media?
Yeah, you can reach me on Discord if you want. Chani's my tag there. You can subscribe to my channel, Hargi Chani1 on YouTube. If you want to pick up my book, shop.chani.us, go check that out. And we'll be on in about an hour-ish with Fonz.
That's right. You're with Fonz. Right. That's right.
Fonz Gaming channel. And GameStock Live. So check that out in about an hour or so.
Well, brother, thank you so much, Hargi. I'm going to reach out to you. I know we've been talking about some stuff behind the scenes. I'll text you. So thank you so much for being here as always. Pixelbit G, brother, thank you so much for coming back. Great opinions as always. Again, the hardware stuff is the only thing I kind of push back on. I don't know. Listen, maybe it's me just being a fanboy, Pixel. I want hardware. I'm hoping that they didn't lie and we do get hardware and we do get both pieces of hardware, both the handheld. But brother, where could people check out your YouTube channel? Check out some of the work you're doing, and more importantly, follow you on social media.
As always, man, it's always great being on the chat with you guys. Everborn, Fun Speculation, Hard Geek, and J Rock, as well as Boom. Look, the consoles may be here forever, and they may not be. It doesn't really matter. We'll still keep gaming, regardless of where it's at, right? So. Came to play the contrarian on this one today, guys. Yeah, I'll be on PC, but I'll still have my console for display. But yeah, I mean, you can catch me often on Twitter, and as well as every now and again, I'll be showing up on 108 Dragons channel. So
that's right.
And every now and again, I do show up on Everborns as well. But it's been a busy life lately. But as always, man, pleasure, guys.
Well, brother, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and hang out with us and drop your bars. J Rock, brother, obviously the gremlin of the lead gremlin of Gremlin Nation. Jay, I hope everything was okay. I know you had to bounce out of here earlier. Of course, family's more important than anything, dude. So I'm so happy to have you back. Get your opinions. Talk about it. Where could people follow you on social media? And what else you got going on?
Well, Boom, they could find me collaborating with Tim. I'm joking. That's never gonna happen. Listen.
Jay and Tim coming soon to YouTube podcast everywhere near you.
That's gonna be a slobber knocker.
That's never gonna happen. Listen, the hooves will never be on these feet. I'll tell you that much. Listen, they can always find me on Twitter having fun, man. Just having fun. It is what it is. At the end of the day, like Pixel Bit said, we still gonna be gaming regardless, man.
Yes
There's a lot of great games coming. Stalker looks amazing.
Dude, Stalker looks good, bro. Stalker looks amazing.
We still got a bunch of games coming out. So we're gonna have fun. So yeah, Boom, they can always find me on Twitter. I'm sure you got the
I'll have your link. I'll have your link to everything in there.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here. Chat, always a pleasure interacting with you guys. Just take it easy.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. And last but not least, Everborn Saga. Obviously, you got something happening with the Everborn Saga. Let's talk about that. Don't you have a New York Comic-Con happening in September, or is it October? They move it.
That is October 17th.
There you go.
Everborn Saga for the first time will be at New York we've been to New York Comic Con, but we will be there on the main floor, booth 2039. But that is not the most important thing tonight. First of all, I just want to say shout out to the chat, and don't take. I tried to be as balanced as I could and come from both sides of this thing. So, I hate the doom and gloom stuff just as much as you guys. But I hope that I was fair in my assessment and coming at it from both directions. Now, the thing that I have to tell you guys about is, you see these? You remember these?
Yes.
Right?
You getting the hard copy finally? The hardcover?
No. Hardcover right here. This is the sample print,
dude.
Good.
And we are not messing around.
Yeah, that artwork is gorgeous, dude.
Nice. So
that's gonna be expensive, right?
Yes, it is. But we're doing our best on the price. But the thing is, we have a new Kickstarter coming up because finally, after years in the making, part 2 of Ariel's Adventure, one of the series in the Everborn Saga, is launching on Kickstarter. And the way we are doing it, we are lining up that Kickstarter so that it launches right when New York Comic Con goes live. So if you support the Kickstarter, you will be able to pick up your book in person at the show.
That's dope.
And it'll come signed and everything right there. But there's going to be a Kickstarter where if you support it, we're shipping the books out the week that the campaign ends. So we're only going for 30 days. It's going to go live on September 8th. But what I need everybody in here to do, if you can, I just put a link in the chat. If you can, please, for me,
share it out.
Sign up to watch this Kickstarter. You don't have to support it, but it just will help the algorithm if you just click notify me on launch. Whether you support it, I will love it if you do, but even if you don't, just if you can, sign up to get notified when we go live. We're going to go live September 8th, and there's going to be a lot of stuff in here, and I promise you're not going to want to miss. This is the biggest single book we've ever done, 72 pages, top quality. I'm going to be sharing some stuff soon, so check it out. Go to everbornsaga.com if you want to get the books, you want to get caught up. But the new Kickstarter is going live September 8th, and we will be at New York Comic Con on the main floor on October 17th. So
Nice.
Thank you, everybody, and I hope I didn't piss too many people off.
I don't think you did at all. In fact, I think everyone had great points. And again, we don't all agree, but I think everyone had phenomenal, very, very strong opinions, points. Big thank you to all of the super chats. We had a total of 31 of them today. That's just madness. Mrs. Boom and I are going to, of course, roll that into the big giveaways, and that's exactly what we're going to do for the last quarter of the year. We are going to be giving away, and this is the big one, folks, $2,000 this December in our 6th annual Christmas with Mr. and Mrs. Boomstick. And we're proud to say that not many channels do that. Last year was $1,500. Mrs. Boom wanted to up the ante because of the way the world is. And look, we're not rich. We're blue collar folk, but we get supported by a very generous community, and we have to put it back into it, which is why we're doing one of our biggest giveaways in the channel's history, $2,000 in 2 hours, which is unbelievable. And that is funded by the fine folks that donated and that continue to donate through super chats and channel memberships. And it's just our way of just paying it forward. Big thank you to the chat. We had well over 900 people here today. Thank you to the panel with the great opinions. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.